Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits on a beautiful Monday in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. So I gave a talk, the last Zen Fit I had was about the two Darwins, the two theories of Darwin that he had. He had two theories, but we kind of like focus on the first one, survival of the fittest, competition. Makes excellence. Be number one, you see. The fight to be number one. The two tomcats, the lion eating the zebra, you know, all of nature, tooth and nail. Survival of the fittest through natural selection, you see. Natural selection. Boy, that gets distorted. You see, so if the white people are the fittest, well then they would only have to select other white people. You can't have any black people in there. So like the survival of the fittest becomes the survival of the pure. Anyway, I digress. The idea here that I'm flushing out, you know, our minds are like toilets. It gets filled up with shit, we can't flush it. You know, flush, damn it, flush. You know, so I'm constantly, I'm never constipated. I'm always flushing. My wife, well, I don't want to get into that. Anyway, the metaphor is, you know, let's flush this thing out here. So a lot of my good conservative friends are concerned that socialism / Democrats is coming to take away our freedoms. You know, even the mayor of my town is afraid of socialism, you know. So the whole, particularly in the South, small town, rural South, red states, socialism is coming, you see. What does that mean? Capitalism is only capitalism. Socialism is communism. Or if you're religious, the Antichrist, the devil, you see. It gets whatever mythos you want. If you are among the wealthy, the 1%, then socialism means the takers are coming to get the money you make. Or if you are white nationalist, then the socialism is the blacks who are coming to take away your rights. Or if you're religious, then the humanists, the humanists are coming. Humanists are science. The humanists are coming to take away your God. You know, to pick your pick on which mythos, which stream you want to flow in. But it all results in the same thing. The two theories of Darwin. Now, the first theory was survival of the fittest. So all of these right-wing, right viewpoints, you see, are focused on the first Darwin, survival of the fittest. And of course, I want to survive, me in my wealth, my race, my religion, you see, my group identity wants to survive, you see, so it's got to compete with and eliminate that other tomcat, because there can only be one tomcat in the backyard. Survival of the fittest, you see, which is conflict. But we all know this competition is good for enterprise. This is what has made America great. Competition of ideas, competition in the marketplace, competition in sports, competition. We start out from the day one with school and sports, competition for grades. That creates excellence. Nothing wrong with that. But what's missing? Well, the second theory of Darwin. Now, I just know what I read and pick up and remember, particularly, you know, and so I'm not any authority on this, but I'm just using a wide-angle lens to kind of like get a grasp of the whole picture and why it's so crazy and why it's so distorted, see. So socialism is the second theory of Darwin. Well, capitalism is the first theory. Competition, survival of the fittest. It's good. It explains evolution of individuals. but it doesn't explain the evolution of life, you see. Now, the second theory of Darwin says that life evolves, species evolve through relationship with the environment, through empathy, through relationship to the whole. So the whole includes all the animals, all the species. It's Noah's Ark, you see. So if you're not in relationship to the whole, then what you're going to do as an individual may get you temporarily the only tomcat in the yard, but it will destroy the yard. You see, if you're not in relationship or empathetic with the whole, intuitively, what you do is going to be destructive to the whole. And that's what we call a cancer. A cancer wants to survive and be the only cell standing, even though it will destroy the host it lives in. You see, that's what cancer does. It destroys the host, and then it dies. So the cancer is a metaphor for a cell that has no relationship to the whole body. We're healthy because all of our organs, all of our cells, all of our senses, everything is in relationship to the whole, while at the same time, it's an individual and wants to take care of its individual organ, but at the same time, it wants to take care of the whole, both at the same time. So they're in balance, you see. But if they get out of balance, if the whole has no relationship to the individual, it becomes a dictatorship. It becomes communism. If capitalism has no relationship to the whole, it becomes the dictatorship of a class of wealthy, you see. So either way, the society is destroyed. So what we're looking for now is balance and an understanding and a working together of the two theories of Darwin. The first is the leans towards the individual survival and its advancement, and the second leans towards the society as a whole, you see. And so these are basically male and female viewpoints. The male viewpoint, mythological or metaphorically speaking, now not sexually, but male as a way of relating to the world, is the action figure, the individual action, the heroic individual, the hero, the individual who changes history, the Western hero, the savior, the individual who comes in through an act of will, changes and gets society back in alignment with the whole, you see. So we're always trying to get in alignment with the whole. When you have a wobble in your car, you go get it in alignment because the wheel is out of alignment with the car as a whole. It's going in that direction. So you're always going off the road, you see. So you get in alignment. You go to a chiropractor to get in alignment with the original organism. You go to a therapist to get in alignment with your original self, the one that's in balance with the whole, you see. We go to a meditation or a spiritual teacher to get in alignment with the whole, you see. You can't get in alignment with another part. You see. You get alignment with the whole. But the whole is not, we can't perceive the whole because all we perceive is parts. You know, you're looking at me. Now you can intuit that I'm in a house. You see a few parts here. You can intuit that I'm in a house, and the house is on a street, and the street's in a town, the town's in a city, the city's in a state, the state's in a country, yada, yada, yada. You zoom out to the top, but you don't see the whole. You don't see the town, you don't see the state, you don't see the country, you don't see the hemisphere, the earth, you see. Unless, of course, you are in digital, but then that's still you. So you just assume, you intuit the whole here. But all you really see is me, the part, you see. So we only see parts. So the whole is always upstream of what we perceive. Now, if we project, see, now, like a green screen, you got the weatherman standing there, you can put on the green screen whatever you want him to stand in front of, Well, we know that's very common now. It's just a metaphor. Put the green screen is where you project the background, the story you want on the object to give it meaning. So the weatherman standing there has meaning as a weatherman if he's standing behind a green screen projection of the weather. But what if he's standing in front of a donut? You see, what is it? What does that mean, you see? So the whole, or the background, gives meaning to the foreground. So if we're not in relationship to the whole, what we're doing is an illusion. Essentially has no meaning, but we think it has meaning because we projected the story behind the foreground to give it meaning that affirms our survival, you see, as the fittest. I survive because I have meaning as being the fittest, the pure one, the chosen one, the wealthy one, the wise one, the teacher, the one who knows, you see. All of these affirm myself as being the fittest, you see. But in order for me to affirm myself as the fittest, the one who knows, the best, the chosen, I have to put on a green screen behind me the story that affirms that. But it's a projection. So Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, is making the screen transparent so I see the real world. The house, the street, the town. You see, the whole real world as it is, unfiltered, you see. Then everything changes. Now I'm not standing, or whatever you're looking at is not standing behind a green screen. You unconsciously, the green screen is unconsciously projecting on the green screen. It becomes transparent. The object you're looking at is still standing there, but its meaning changes because the background screen is now transparent. You see through it. It's a veil, the veil of Maya. So getting back to my original exploration here was the two Darwins, is that they must work in balance because the survival of the fittest Darwin, the first theory, if the second theory is discarded, the first theory must have meaning, so it's going to project behind it a reality that makes the first theory makes it, well, I see. It affirms myself as the one who must survive. It affirms the individual and doesn't see the whole. So if that, for the second theory, so the whole would be socialism. Socialism is concerned for the society. Capitalism is concerned for the individual, first theory. Socialism is concerned for the whole of the people, the whole of society. So you could say then that in the Tao Te Ching, the wisdom of the Tao is that you lead with the female and follow with the male. Now what does that mean? You lead with the female because the female, metaphorically now, not sexually, female represents the whole. The womb, the totality, the mother goddess, the earth is female. All of creation is female. In the Indian mythology, creation is the mother. So you lead with the female. In other words, you become tuned to the whole. You listen. You pause. You don't judge. You suspend judgment. You look. You listen. That's the female. What is here? What's going on? I look. Then, when I see, I act. That's the male. Male is action. The individual who acts. The whole doesn't act. The female doesn't act. But the male acts within the context of the world, the female. the female is the world, then the male as an individual acts in it. But unless he is in relationship or in alignment with the female, his action is going to be unwise. Our culture is a male culture. So our conditioning is lead with the male. Act. Do something. Don't just sit there. Act. Then you can listen. The Eastern wisdom is lead with the listen first, then act. And your action then will be correct and in alignment with the whole. But if you're not in alignment with the whole through surrender, through listening, you see, your action is going to be incorrect and you're going to destroy the whole. You're going to destroy the world. Your act will be an illusion. It won't be authentic. Authenticity means being in alignment with the whole. And we intuitively sense when somebody's authentic, you see. That's because they are in the Tao, in the Dharma, in alignment with the whole, and not a rogue cancer cell. So this whole debate going on in our politics now about capitalism and the threat of socialism is all just illusion. It's all misinformation, misunderstanding, and fear of being in relationship to the mother, to the whole, and losing my power and my freedom to do what I want. Freedom is being able to do what I want without responsibility or relationship to the whole. So in that sense, our culture is going through a adolescence, because the adolescence, breaking out of the parental authority, wants to do what he wants. I want to do what I want. I don't want no parent's mother telling me what to do. You see, that's this adolescent. So we're going through an adolescence here. And what's on the other side of adolescence? Maturity. We are being born again, America. We're going from an immature adolescent viewpoint of the world to a whole viewpoint. And you can see this happening everywhere. Happened in the 60s when holism, organic, holistic, whole, see the whole, the rise of women, women's rights, women's movement. Women's movement is the mother coming to restore balance. Avatar. You see. So we're going, if you just look, you can see it happening everywhere. Trump is Custer's last stand of the arrogant male who doesn't want to have any rules and doesn't want to relate to the mother, to the female. He wants to control her, control the mother, control the earth, control creation, and burn it up. Thanks for dropping in and having this Zen Fit with me.